Hi everyone, welcome to Town Hall. My name is Pam Friedman. I'm the Managing Director and Principal of Robertson Stevens Wealth Management here in Austin, Texas. I started at Impact Austin in 2015. I walked into my first meeting. I didn't know too many people there, but I knew enough to know why I was there. I was there to begin my philanthropic journey in Austin to learn more about the opportunities to give back. And it was a fantastic journey. There's so many organizations that I've met that over the past 6 years have become part of my heart. Friends of the Children, Jeremiah Program, Emancipet, and other organizations that I've helped support individually and support through collective giving. What is investing? I mean, investing is investing not only in yourself, your family, it starts there, but investing in your community and things that are important to you with your money, with your dollars, but also with your time, with your energy and your knowledge and expertise. All those things are an investment in our community and really in society as large. If you want to affect change, women's collective giving is one of the best entry points to do that, to understand what's out there, and it'll give you the menu, so to speak, to see where you want to focus your efforts. You may not get a financial return, but you're going to get other types of return. And that's what Impact Austin gives you the opportunity to see what's out there, how you can impact the world, how much more power you have to be intentional so that programs actually get started, so that organizations can operate successfully here in Austin. It takes that group giving to give that power to those organizations. Investing is more than just about making more money. It means making a difference.
Join Pam and the women of Impact Austin at impactaustin.org.
Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. I am Christina Gorczynski. I am Impact Austin's Executive Director. Impact Austin is a women's collective giving organization based in Central Texas, and I am thrilled to welcome everyone to our town hall meeting. We will celebrate this year's accomplishments, show how Impact Austin is giving collectively and with intention. You'll hear an update on grant outcomes from some of our previous community partners, and of course, why we are all here. Some special guests will be announcing Impact Austin's Fall 2021 community partners in the grant focus areas of equity and health and well-being. We hope you finish tonight feeling inspired to share your time, talent, treasure, ties, and testimonials with Central Texas nonprofits. Thank you to our sponsors for making this night possible. Thank you to Robertson Stevens and Pam Friedman, who we heard from at the top of the program. Thank you so much, Pam, for your unwavering support of Impact Austin. Our premium sponsors, C2C Media and Deanna DeHaven, Enoch Keever, FVF Law, and Firehouse Animal Health Centers. Our leadership sponsor, Flourishing Garden and Donna Mitchell. Flourishing Garden also donated a generous gift to use as a drawing for everyone who joins or renews their membership to Impact Austin. You'll hear more about that in just a moment. Thank you to all of these sponsors and donors for supporting Impact Austin's mission and vision. Impact Austin cultivates and expands the knowledge, passion, and generosity of our members to make a positive impact by developing strong relationships and leveraging the power of collective giving. Our vision is to unlock the potential in our community by uniting to fulfill our philanthropic purpose. And how are we achieving our mission and vision? Let me share a couple of statistics with you on our collective impact. To date, Impact Austin has awarded $7.87 million into Central Texas in the form of 103 high impact grants to 83 organizations and having engaged 2,815 female philanthropists. Our members from this organization over the last 18 years have made all of that possible. And I am so grateful that so many of you are here with us tonight. In our year, 2021, 2021 brought positive, impactful work. We started our year-round membership recruitment program. 435 members were eligible to vote on this fall's grants. We've recruited 107 members in 2021, so during this pandemic, and we cannot wait to meet you in person soon at our upcoming events. We have 54 members paying using our new monthly payment system, and I would love to add your name to that list. We have 2 grant cycles, one in the fall and spring. Fall 2021, so this evening, we'll be awarding $226,200 in grant awards, which brings our total for Impact Austin and G3 grants in 2021 to $430,000. But we can only make this impact because of our members. The more members, the bigger impact. So with that, it is my job to ask you to join Impact Austin at impactaustin.org right now. And a special incentive, we have a drawing coming up at the end of the month. So as I mentioned, Donna Mitchell of Flourishing Gardens donated a 1-hour garden design consult and a gardening gift basket with items from Leaf Landscaping Supply. To be entered in the drawing, you have until November 30th to get your membership payment in or sign up for monthly payments. So make sure you're signed up for another year at impactaustin.org. Thank you so much, Donna, for donating the gift of your time, your treasure, and so many talents to Impact Austin. Okay, y'all, but wait, there's more. And another way to make a huge Impact Austin, an impact for Impact Austin ourselves. If you make a contribution to our annual fund, you will be matched dollar for dollar. We got an incredible $20,000 matching gift from Melissa and Hiten Patel. They will be matching all of your gifts to our annual fund before December 31st. So $20,000, that's right. So whatever size gift you make to Impact Austin's Philanthropy Circle between now and the end of the year will be matched dollar for dollar, thanks to the amazing Melissa and Hiten Patel. They're able to make this incredibly meaningful gift by making a $10,000 personal gift to Impact Austin. And Dell Technologies will match the other $10,000. They're at the empowerment level of our Philanthropy Circle, and they're listed on our website, impactaustin.org. You can also check out the chat for all of these links. So if you make a $250 donation to the Philanthropy Circle, say, you'll be recognized as a member, but that $250 can become $500 because of the match of the Patels. So you have the power to double your impact. But I want y'all to get this, because there's so many folks out there who are eligible for this. For our members and donors who are eligible to receive a corporate match from their company, or a member of their household, for example, a spouse may be eligible for corporate matching. Even if you're retired from a company that does corporate matching from your previous employer, you can get matched dollar for dollar. So that $250 gift to Impact Austin can become $1,000, because every dollar you give will be matched by the Patels, including the matching dollars from your company. So gifts like your individual contributions and this incredibly generous gift from Melissa and Hiten make our work of engaging women in philanthropy possible, which has an incredible ripple effect across Central Texas. So thank you, Melissa, Hiten, and all of you for supporting Impact Austin. And we can get back to the amazing grant making too of Impact Austin, see some of our work in action. So year round, Impact Austin recruits members to contribute individual contributions to a collective grant pool. And every grant cycle, Impact Austin members work collectively together in grant review committees to narrow the applicants to 2 finalists in each focus area. Our members vote online on the 2 finalists in each category. And starting at our most recent annual meeting this last June, the top vote getter will get the primary grant. It's 80% of the dollars collected for that focus area. And the other finalists will receive a secondary grant of 20% of the total dollars collected. So the grant amounts are now announced at the start of each application period, and grant award winners and the new community partners are announced at town hall, like tonight, and at our annual meeting. Our next annual meeting, save the date, will be June 6th, 2022. So we fund in several focus areas, and tonight we'll be focusing on health and well-being and our equity grant. But I wanted to point out we have a couple of other grant making opportunities coming up. One is that our Girls Giving Grants, our youth initiative of 8th to 12th grade girls, are currently meeting for their 2021-2022 grant cycle. and they'll be awarding that grant in April. And then coming up in June, our community and education grants will begin grant review at the beginning of the year. So I now, after all of these wonderful announcements, I get to introduce the incredible work of 6 of our Impact Austin community partners, and we'll watch some updates from some grant outcomes from these nonprofits. Collectively, the total dollar amount that's invested that you'll see that you'll see tonight is $350,000 that were awarded in 6 grants to Austin Child Guidance Center, Casa Marianella, Family Eldercare, BookSpring, Welcome Table, and NAMI Central Texas in that order. So let's hear from them.
Austin Child Guidance Center provides high-quality mental health services to children and families to help them thrive in childhood and beyond. So the grant money we received from Impact Austin primarily helped us to integrate teletherapy services, which was really important as a result of the pandemic. And so we were able to implement teletherapy services really quickly after everything shut down in March of last year. It helped us to implement usage of our electronic health record system, which is a part of the teletherapy platform. And so we were able to use that HIPAA compliant software to allow our clients to better access our services. In the grant cycle year, we were able to serve more than 700 children and families using the teletherapy, and more importantly, really huge for clients because they were able to access services despite mostly being in their homes for the last year. Through some early encouragement from our Impact Austin mentor, we developed a podcast. It's called Thrive, Building Resilient Families. We're only in our 5th episode, and so it's still new, and we're building that. But I think that that's just an additional way that the funds from Impact Austin is helping us to add value to the community and support more children and families. The long-term effect of having a child that has positive emotion regulation and who kind of has a sense of themselves and who has typical levels of anxiety and who knows how to communicate well and who knows how to, right, all of these things impact them throughout their life. It then impacts them as adults. It impacts them as they find a partner and raise their own family and become professionals and members of society. And so I think the downstream benefit of the work that we do, honestly, in a lot of ways, isn't really quantifiable, right? Because it just means that healthy kids build healthy communities, build healthy societies.
Casa Marianella provides shelter and support to homeless, displaced immigrants here in Austin, Texas, and assists them on their path to self-sufficiency. With the grant money, we kept operating our shelters and supporting the many clients of ours who had previously stayed in shelter and found themselves unemployed and hungry immediately as the pandemic hit. And then we looked and saw, wow, we've been serving hundreds and hundreds of shelter clients these years. Now they're doing okay, especially the folks who had been here within the last year or two, just really getting started, doing okay, paying their bills, being able to buy their own groceries, etc. Now, pretty much 100% unemployed. Lost their jobs immediately. Everyone was working in the service industry. Most of our folks not eligible for unemployment insurance or other benefits available to some people to stay afloat. We were not sure what we were going to do, and when Impact Austin came in and said that they wanted to see how they could help us help others during this pandemic, it was an amazing relief. We were able to pay people's rent, buy groceries for people, buy diapers for people, literally keep people from being homeless or from accruing so much debt that when they would become homeless, it would be an insurmountable challenge to come onto. So this assistance that Impact Austin helped us with of keeping people from being homeless during the pandemic impacted at least 300 people for us. So many of the people that we're serving, they are going to do great. They're going to be self-sufficient, but they cannot do it 100% on their own, and crisis is waiting for them if they are left to be homeless, hungry, vulnerable in the meantime that they can be okay. And with the help of Impact Austin and other community support, we were able to make sure that they would be okay.
Family Eldercare believes that all Texans should thrive with purpose and dignity regardless of age or their abilities. And we provide those services. We also think that being around a supportive community is key for that purpose. You know, we were very fortunate when Impact Austin stepped up to the plate. We were able to buy laptop computers and remote devices to work where we could meet the clients in the need during our COVID crisis. We had to become remote. We were not there, and that grant provided a great impact for us. Over 1,000 people were impacted by the money that we received from the Impact Austin grant. Our clients, families, staff, we all benefited. One particular client, we'll call her Cheryl, was impacted. She had recently lost her husband and the bills were stacking up. We were able to reach out to her with a fan just to cool her home off, her and her pet. And then from there, COVID hit, of course, in that time, and also Winter Storm Uri caused a lot of issues without getting food. She could not get out because of her abilities. And so we were able to provide her some gift cards. In that learning, we found that she was going through some depression and some isolation, so our in-home counseling team stepped up to be able to minister to those needs as well. And also, she was afraid of losing her home. So our housing and stability team was able to step up and find her funding to keep her home. And so when you add all that spectrum of service, that breadth of services, you can see the impact that Family Eldercare can make on somebody to age gracefully, age with dignity and purpose in their own home. We serve a group of people that seems to get forgotten, an older adult. It's easy to fund things that are passionate to you, but there's not a whole lot of passion for older adults unless you are one. And so our services, keeping them in their home, being able to live with dignity, being able to get the services that they've worked so hard for all their life and may not know how to access those services, that's what Family Eldercare brings to the table.
BookSpring is a nonprofit here in Austin, Texas. Our mission is to build early literacy in children and families through healthcare, education, and community partnerships. We were so blessed to have $25,000 last year from Impact Austin during the midst of COVID. That allowed us to give out 10,000 books to low-income children right here in Central Texas. Because the way we look at it, every book is part of the whole ecosystem we're giving out. Overall, BookSpring gave out 170,000 books to over 80,000 children last year. So your grant actually helped us do that entire work. One of the most important things about BookSpring is that we are building early literacy. We believe that literacy starts at home. The most important foundations for literacy happen between parents or caregivers and children, even before children can read on their own. So we started at birth through our healthcare partners, giving out books as part of well child exams. And then we continue on up through really 12 years old or 5th grade. So there are these studies that show that low-income families have 0 to very few books in the home, and that only 20 books at home is a predictor of 3 more years of education in life. So if we can just build a home library of at least 20 books, we're giving kids a leg up for the rest of their entire lives. It affects their housing, their work environment, their education, even their physical health. If you can't read a medicine bottle, how can you take your medicine? Really, early literacy is a foundation for success in so many different ways, and it's so inexpensive to get books into the home. So it's such a bang for your buck when you give money to BookSpring. So I really hope that you all consider continuing to do this, because we need to get this steady stream of books, and there are new children being born every day, and they deserve the same chance as more affluent kids who have lots of books at home.
The Freedom Schools Austin mission is to provide quality summer programming for scholars who would not necessarily have opportunities to be engaged in an enriching environment. The grant money from Impact Austin was used to help us pivot very quickly when we needed to switch to virtual programming last summer due to the pandemic. And it has helped us again this year to pivot when our community asked for us to come back in person. So we bought tablets last summer for every scholar, and they got to keep those tablets to use throughout the rest of the school year. And this year, we've been able to bring scholars back in person, along with all of our servant leader interns. We have about 23 families, totaling about 40 scholars. So those are the families that the money that you guys gave us has helped to impact. The Children's Defense Fund out of Washington, D.C. sponsors Freedom Schools all across the country. It was started during the Civil Rights Movement when college students went down to help adults register to vote, and they had schools for the children. The work that Freedom Schools Austin does is important because we change lives. We convince and inspire children to know that they can make a difference, that they can make a difference with themselves, in their families, in their community, in the world, and they can do all of those things through hope, education, and action.
NAMI Central Texas is the local affiliate of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and we are committed to improving the lives of all individuals impacted by mental illness. We do this by providing free classes and support groups for families and individuals who are impacted by mental illness, and then providing all kinds of trainings and presentations and workshops for the larger community, including schools, faith communities, and workplaces. Thanks to the funding from Impact Austin, we were able to launch a brand new initiative in the midst of this pandemic. We were able to launch a program that was really committed to providing support and resources for parents and caregivers with children who were navigating mental health issues. This came in at a really important time and was such a great gift to the community. We really saw it as a big concern. But in addition to that, Impact Austin's funding also helped us to fully support the launching of our online programming. And that's one of the places where we saw a huge impact, with 2,185 people who participated in more than 150 programming events online. We know that a lot of people were impacted thanks to Impact Austin. I think, it's really interesting. In a typical year, 1 in 5 adults and 1 in 6 children are impacted by mental health conditions. It is a health condition. It is probably one of our most pressing public health issues that we have happening. And in the midst of the pandemic, we're anticipating that that will only worsen. This was a year in which people were really isolated and lonely. And so in particular this year, our work was so important to help draw people in so they didn't feel alone, to provide them with the kind of education and support and resources that they greatly needed as they were navigating mental health issues, for some of them the very first time. So on all fronts, in terms of mental health is health, and it impacts honestly all of us. If you're not the 1 in 5 or the 1 in 6, you probably love, care, or know someone who is impacted. And so it really is a health issue that impacts every single one of us.
Thank you so much to these incredible organizations. We are so happy to feature your work and see in chat how many of our members are going to look up your organizations and continue to get more involved. So now I have the great pleasure of celebrating some amazing people. So how are we doing tonight, folks? I wanted to start off just thanking some incredible volunteers who are joining our board this year. But I couldn't get started without giving a special thank you to our new class of 2022 board members that are joining Impact Austin's board. They are already making an impact on our organization and bringing their time, talent, treasure, connections, and lived experience. So thank you so much, and welcome to the board, Erin, Lillian, Kimberly, Joanna, Margaret, and Ricky. So giving them a special shout out, we're going to be doing 4 awards this evening. To the Committee of the Year, the Val Kirk Above and Beyond Award a core values member of the year, and then several volunteers of the year. So first, the committee of the year, the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Committee of Impact Austin. This is the highest honor Impact Austin bestows annually on one committee whose contribution of time and talent fundamentally and substantially strengthens and improves Impact Austin. Our DEIB co-chairs that I am celebrating and congratulating on wonderful work with their entire team are Kendall Antonelli and Carmelita McInnes-Williams. Thank you to the DEIB committee for working to embed equity across Impact Austin. And we would love to have more members join the wonderful DEIB committee. And the next DEIB committee meeting is coming up. It's December 14th. It's the second Tuesday of December at 6:30 on Zoom. And it'll be led by our new DEIB co-chairs, Rebecca Birch and Cassie Longoria. So join us to get more involved. And okay, so up next is a very special award named for our beloved, wonderful Val Kirk, who is an incredible volunteer and always goes above and beyond. So the Val Kirk Above and Beyond Award this year goes to Becky Austin and Lorene Phillips for their work founding the Strategic Advisory Council this year. This award is the highest honor Impact Austin bestows annually on one, but this year two, volunteers whose contribution of time and talent fundamentally and substantially strengthens us forever. Thank you, Becky and Lorene, for your leadership. So a new award, the Core Values Award. So Impact Austin's core values are curiosity, empathy, inclusivity, and impact. The next award goes to a member who embodies the 4 core values of Impact Austin within our organization and beyond. I cannot think of a more fitting honoree than the incredible Linda Yang, the co-chair of our marketing committee. Linda welcomes all women with a passion to give back, and she cares deeply about our Central Texas community, all of our nonprofit partners, and all of her fellow members. From thinking through the member experience and creating a phenomenal online presence for Impact Austin, Linda has the superpower of being able to put herself in the shoes of others and make them feel valued and welcome and included. Each day, Linda makes Impact Austin a little bit better, and she makes an impact through her leadership, and I think the world is a better place because of her. So 3 volunteers who were extraordinary this year and made this wild last couple of years so wonderful. I'd like to just acknowledge these 3 volunteers of the year. Lauren Lewis for her hard work producing countless virtual events for our members, for the hours that she put into the details of the event, and her fundraising support, bringing her fresh perspective and experienced informed work to Impact Austin's Grant Review Committee. So on top of her annual financial contribution to Impact Austin, Lauren has shared her gifts of time, her talent, and her expertise as a nonprofit fundraiser with Impact Austin as a volunteer. Deanna DeHaven for her work from concept to completion. Deanna's firm donated tens of thousands of dollars of video production and creativity during this time in our virtual world. She produced 2 incredible videos specifically that will serve as time capsules and tell the story of Impact Austin in 2020 and 2021, our 2 together in service videos. Deanna also served as a member of the board of directors, the co-chair of the strategic planning committee, and a grant review committee member. And Rise Candelaria, youarethebomb.com, as an incredible public speaker who has brought the gift of words and presentation and strategy and good humor all around to our organization. From her service on the strategic planning committee, a speaker at many of our events, the co-chair of a GRC, and just being an all-around positive force for Impact Austin. So thank you so much to these amazing women and all of our volunteers. So in just a bit, the moment that we've been waiting for in the grant announcements for this evening, that not even the finalists themselves know the results of the votes. But first, I want to see what the Impact Austin Girls Giving Grants girls are doing to make a big impact on the youth of Central Texas this year. So let's hear from Girls Giving Grants.
Girls Giving Grants is about empowering young women through the mission of philanthropy and helping our Austin community.
It's about learning about the needs in your community and organizations that are not big name ones, but local ones that are doing really great work.
The goal of the organization really is to kind of pass on that task of thinking about social issues and trying to solve them to the next generation, and also, of course, to address needs of the youth in our community.
It's been such an incredibly positive experience, and also we have given $98,000 so far.
It's really fulfilling to see that your money's going to something helpful for the community, and it also gave me a lot of optimism because I saw a lot of good work that was being done.
What usually sticks with me in a grant is kind of that balance of heart and commitment, and also having a really clear plan of execution. And I think that Center for Survivors of Torture really just had both of those things.
Hi, my name is Kate Taylor, and I work for Center for Survivors of Torture, or CST, as we're also known. We serve refugees, asylum seekers, undocumented immigrants, providing clinical case management and mental health counseling.
Obviously, Survivors of Torture is a name that catches your eye on the grant. But beyond that, the grant really did show so much heart and so much potential that we just knew it was the one we had to choose when we saw it.
On top of that, I think also it was a really big accumulation of like a lot of things we're passionate about. I know I was, and other people in G3 are passionate about educational equity.
The grant specifically was going towards providing tablets and internet access to young refugees in the hopes that they can continue their Zoom classes and that it will address the digital inequity that's going on in Austin right now.
What has been really cool about the G3 grant is that it allowed us to connect our students and youth just in general with devices that they could use both for school, but importantly for their mental health counseling with our organization. And something I'm super grateful for is by being a part of the Girls Giving Grant process, we were able to connect with a group of young women who didn't shy away from, the name of our organization and the topic that we address. They were actually enthusiastic, and I think they were able to see in this kind of fresh way that, a lot of adults don't necessarily see.
One of the coolest things about Girls Giving Grants is that it brings together a lot of people of different ages, from different backgrounds. There's this really uniting social factor there.
Going forward, I'll definitely take the messages that I've learned from G3 about leadership and about friendship and about how to impact the area where I live. I'm very proud of being a part of G3, and I'm very glad that it has taught me so much.
Join Girls Giving Grants today at girlsgivinggrants.org.
Good evening. My name is Kimberly Klein, and I'm one of the members of Impact Austin's Board of Directors. Part of my role as a member of the board is to encourage you to join and renew your membership to Impact Austin, as well as highlight opportunities to support Impact Austin's programming. Girls Giving Grants is such a wonderful example of one of our programs and what amazing work they have done. It's exactly the caliber and mission of Impact Austin's work to engage women of all ages in philanthropy. We seek to build lifelong philanthropists through our philanthropy education programming across the entire organization. A donation from you to our Philanthropy Circle makes this programming a reality. From the first time I heard our founder, Rebecca Powers, speak about the mission of Impact Austin on NPR in 2007, I knew I wanted to be a part of this organization. I had spent time volunteering at various other places, but didn't feel like I was truly making an impact. And my biggest objective in deciding my path for community involvement was to make sure that I truly understood the needs of our community and to feel like I was making a difference in contributing to them. I really had no idea how to get started in that journey, but when I joined Impact Austin in 2008, I knew I had found the right path. Over the last 13 years, with experience in various parts of the organization, Impact Austin has taught me so much about our community and lent toward my personal growth as a philanthropist. I definitely often feel like I'm getting more than I give. Impact Austin has always met me where I am. from the years when I was starting a family and did no more than write my check and attend the annual meeting, to now when I have stepped into board service. It's been the perfect fit. I'm honored that I've been given this opportunity to step into board service, to not only share my time and talents, but to continue learning from this organization that puts its philanthropy programming to its members and the community as a top priority. It's my hope that I can inspire other women to find their path in their philanthropic journey as well. From your membership dues, $1,000 goes back into the community in the form of our annual high impact grants. We allocate $250 to the infrastructure that's needed to issue our grants and harness the power of our volunteers and member philanthropists. Just as you invest in our community partners through our high impact grants, we ask you to show your support for Impact Austin by making an investment in us and our work with a donation to our Philanthropy Circle. All donations are tax deductible, and gifts of any size are important, welcome, and so very much appreciated. You can use the link in the chat to renew your membership as well as make a donation. Even amid the challenges of this time, you have stepped up more than ever to make an impact in our community. Impact Austin demonstrates the power of the collective, pooling resources, time, talent, ties, and testimony to improve our community together. Thank you for being a part of our collective and sharing your time and resources with Impact Austin and our community partners. Your membership, dedication, passion, and generous support of Impact Austin make these accomplishments possible. Tonight, I'm also here in the role of one of the Equity Grant Review Committee co-chairs. In the last 3 years, Impact Austin has been pursuing a focus on equity and communities of color. In October 2018, Impact Austin's leadership considered developing a pilot for a new grant focused on equity. We wanted the effort to develop from community research and in consultation with local thought leaders to award a grant to collaboratives known to be working in the space of equity and benefiting women and/or girls of color. With that, the Impact Incubator Social Innovation Grant, or SIG for short, was launched in early 2019. The first social innovation grant was awarded for the Innocence Initiative in November 2019, and the second social innovation grant was awarded in November 2020 to a collaborative led by Black Mamas ATX. In the fall of 2020, the new equity grant was announced as the outcome of the SIG, which was always intended to be a short-term impact incubator initiative. The equity grant's inaugural award will be announced tonight. The grant will advance equity for women and/or girls of color. The SIG legacy is more than just groundwork laid for future changes to grant making, though. The impacts live on within our organization. Members coming from both SIG collaboratives have participated on committees and GRCs, spoken at philanthropy education events, helped guide strategic planning, and one member recently joined the board of directors. I would love to clarify that our work around equity has shown progress, but we are not done. We're on a journey and we've laid a foundation for continued learning, and we're committed to the journey. A big first step in our equity grant is our equity grant that I have the honor of presenting. But first, let's see our finalist videos from Mi MADRE and Jolt Initiative.
The biggest need that we have identified at Mi MADRE during this year was emotional support so that students can navigate the process of being in middle school, high school, and entering college. For first-generation students, that's particularly daunting because they don't have the know-how in the family of how to navigate that process. So it's already difficult. And then during this year, with the pandemic being so isolated, depression went up. We plan on using this grant to support our programs that have been proven to be successful for the past 30 years. And one of the things that we'll put more emphasis on this year is being very conscious about that mental health piece. The most important thing to consider first, from a demographic perspective, The Latinx population is the fastest growing population in Texas in general and in the country. So if we think about our growth as a society, if we think about having prepared professionals for our future, and our future depends on that, we have to invest in the Latinx population. If we're thinking about equity and undoing structures of inequality, we have to invest in education. We have to, and with that, we have to invest in mental health. We have to invest in dreams. And by investing in the population that we serve and in programs like ours, you're investing in generational change. Should we be so fortunate to receive this grant from Impact Austin, Con Mi Madre will be able to impact 600 mothers and daughters in Central Texas. And that's why your support is so significant. And think about it, you're not just impacting those 600 mothers and daughters, you're impacting the generations to come.
Jolt is a Latino civic engagement organization, and our vision is just to ensure that Latinos are represented in places of power. In the city of Austin, about 30% of the workforce is Latinx, and of that percentage, only about 7% are in positions of power, executive positions. Additionally, only about 5% of nonprofit boards are Latinx. So we really feel that there's a need right now in our state and in our city to make sure that Latinas are represented in those places of power. On a positive note, what Jolt has seen is Latinas are ready to step up and face this issue full on. They're engaged, they're passionate, they're ready to dedicate time and energy to really organizing and mobilizing their communities on the issues that really impact themselves and their families. In 2021, Jolt did 12 Poder Quinces. Our goal for 2022 is to attend 50 Poder Quinces. In 2021, we had about 30 young Latinx women participate in Arriba las Mujeres. Our goal is to double that amount and have 60 in 2022. If Jolt received this grant from Impact Austin, we feel confident that we would be able to scale our current blueprint for success with Poder Quince, with Arriba las Mujeres, in a way to really empower and uplift young Latinas to help get them into the door, into places of power.
Before I share our results, I would like to take a brief moment to thank those involved in this year's Equity Grant Review Committee. Thank you to my co-chair, Monica Deal. She served as a mentor to me, and her leadership was invaluable to our grant review process. Thank you to our grants chairs, Marla Whalen and Catherine Drew, our GRC coordinators, Michelle Rankin and Karen McClendon, and Melissa McDermott, our advisor. You provided all the training we needed and always had immediate support available when we needed it. A huge thank you to our 20 GRC members who did the actual work to bring us these 2 finalists tonight. We appreciate your time, experience, and meaningful input during the evaluation of the 8 nonprofits that applied for the Equity Grant this year. And now, the grant winners for the Equity Grant Focus Area. The application receiving the most votes and receiving a grant in the amount of $90,500 is Con Mi Madre. Our runner-up, Jolt Initiative, will receive a grant in the amount of $22,600. Congratulations to you both. And now I would like to hand it over to Rise Candelaria for our Health and Wellbeing grant.
Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you so much for allowing me to have my turn and to tell you a little bit more about some of the exciting grants. Another exciting grant that went on this past fall. Just a little bit about me. Of course, you know that I joined Impact Austin in 2020, and I also have the pleasure of serving on the Strategic Planning Committee. A little bit of our work, which you've heard about tonight. But tonight I come to you in my role as the Health and Wellbeing GRC co-chair. So as you heard earlier, Impact Austin has taken their time to diversify their grants to serve a number of purposes for our community. The specific focus for our Health and Wellbeing grant, though, is to strengthen and enhance the lives of children and families or to positively impact the mental or physical health and wellness of people here in Austin and Central Texas. This fall, or should say this summer, we've been working for many months now. Our committee consisted of 22 amazing volunteers who began our work in August to review and evaluate the applications of almost 40 different nonprofits in the Central Texas area. And so we have worked together over these last 3 months to get to where we are today, the final 2 candidates for our health and well-being grant. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to the 2 finalists for the Health and Wellbeing grants this year, the Austin Asian Community Health Initiative and the Texas Advocacy Project, Incorporated.
So AACHI has found a huge access barrier to health for a large number of people. We specifically address Asian Americans in Austin. Our clients are folks who don't speak English, and that ends up getting in the way of pretty much every possible way that you would normally get a doctor's appointment. So transportation is very difficult to access without speaking English or Spanish, as well as getting the appointment. And then even after, during the appointment, you know, there's oftentimes miscommunication even with available language services. And then after the appointment, any kind of billing, prescriptions, or follow-up, all of it is pretty much nearly impossible without extra support. So we have these amazing people called community health workers. Community health workers serve as the bridge between the resources and the communities in need. Community health workers, according to Texas and mostly across the country, are all folks that are recruited from their communities. So they know everything that the communities are going through. So, you know, for example, our Burmese communities, a lot of them have had the experience as refugees. And so most of the staff that we brought on as Burmese CHWs have had that same experience. So they know exactly what these folks are going through, what they have gone through, and they know their language too. We have folks from the Arabic community, Burmese community, Vietnamese, Chinese, and Arabic community, that's multiple communities. So that could be Syrian, it could be Iraqi, Iran, multiple different countries speak Arabic. And then also the Korean community and the Nepali community. You know what, we keep growing, so it's hard to keep track sometimes. So what we want to do with this funding is to make sure to have at least 2 community health workers per community, so that there's no person who's left for even, you know, anywhere from 2 days to a few months without care. And then in the long term, you know, I think if we, through our education, through our services, we're providing the knowledge and resources needed for preventative care. So overall, the goal is for us to stop having to deal with emergencies and to really think more about how to maintain health.
If Texas Advocacy Project were to receive this grant from Impact Austin, we would be able to make some long, sustainable changes within our organization by bringing in a social work department. And we know that coupling social work with legal services will get a survivor safe long-term, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. Texas Advocacy Project has brought in a social worker to help lay the foundation of this program, to help guide how we will provide services and how we will couple with our legal department in order to make sure that survivors, when they're in their highest time of crisis, are able to get the long-term solutions that they need. It's very important to us at Texas Advocacy Project that we are wrapping survivors in full services. While we know that if you have a protective order, you're 80% less likely to get re-victimized, we also know that when you have such serious trauma, moving on to the next step and getting to those orders is very difficult unless you have an advocate like a social worker working alongside you to help you to be able to process everything that is happening to you, for you, and with you. Texas Advocacy Project has been providing free civil legal remedies for 40 years now, and we know that what we do gets people safe in the long term. But what we've also learned is that mental health issues are so dire right now, especially after the pandemic. And we also know that people really need extra support in order to get through our systems in a more timely manner so that they can get to that next stage in their life faster so that they can be there for their families, so that they can start their new lives. We know that bringing on a social worker is going to help people to access resources better, to understand the process that they're going through, to heal quicker. And isn't that what we want? We want people to be safe, to heal quicker, and to be there for the rest of their families and for what's going to come next in their lives, to be prepared for it. Unfortunately, at Texas Advocacy Project, since the pandemic has occurred, we have noticed so many more high-risk cases coming in. These women and these children that really may not survive if we don't get them out fast, if we're not able to provide them with services. We have people that have been physically, emotionally harmed, and we need to help them. We need to wrap them in services. We have a track record of being able to do this, and we just need to do it better, longer, and we need it to be sustainable. So an investment in Texas Advocacy Project right now is really going to be pivotal for how we're going to serve people in the future. And I know from my heart that this will save many, many lives sooner rather than later.
Thank you again to both of those amazing organizations, and to all of the organizations who took the time to apply and to reach out and to join us, and to, of course, for the opportunity to review all of these amazing applications, to learn more about amazing organizations. And, with that being said, I wasn't alone in the process. So before I announce tonight's winner and runner-up, and I know there's a lot of excitement in the room, I would like to say many, many thanks to my co-chair, Linda Carey, as well as our advisor, Ann Helmick-Lyon, who, along with our grant leaders, Karen McLinden, Michelle Rankin, and Marla Whalen, were instrumental in guiding our committee through the work that we were assigned as the Health and Wellbeing Grant Review Committee. It's no easy task making this decision, and there were so many worthy organizations. But of course, I can also say that it's not too late for you to join us. So just a quick reminder before I announce those winners. Sorry, I like to keep the anticipation building. I'd like to remind you that you too can sign up to participate in our spring grant review committees starting on January 4th. So just so you remember, our focus areas for spring 2022 are the community and education areas. And as a reminder, the community grant will help to enhance economic, social, and environmental or cultural initiatives. And the education grant will also work to enhance education and learning in its many forms. All right, so now here's the moment you've been waiting for. The top vote getter for our health and wellbeing grant, receiving the most votes and $90,500, is the Texas Advocacy Project. Our runner-up, receiving $22,600, of course, is the Asian American Community Health Initiative. Again, both worthy and amazing organizations that you would like to spend some time learning more about. And I hope that you take the time to look at the links that have been made available in the chat and to learn more about what they are doing in our community. And with that, I'll turn it over to our amazing Executive Director, Christina Krasinski. It's on you.
Thank you so much, Rise. Congratulations to our brand new community partners. We are so proud to partner with you and welcome you to the Impact Austin community. So a couple of events that are coming up, I wanted to share with you. Our Collective Giving Tuesday will be on Giving Tuesday. So Tuesday, November 30th, we'll be hosting it on Zoom and Facebook Live at 12 noon. And in honor of the Global Day of Giving, Giving Tuesday, we are doing Collective Giving Tuesday. We get asked every year for contributions here and there for Giving Tuesday. And just imagine if we can continue to pool our donations in this collective way. We'll be featuring collective giving circles and leaders from across the state of Texas. Also next is our Discovery Days. After the great success of our 2021 Discovery Days 2022 will be a 3-part virtual experience with lunchtime webinars on the following Fridays, January 21st, February 4th, and February 18th. All sessions are free for Impact Austin members and the community and will be posted on our website, the videos for folks if the daytime timing doesn't work out. The sessions will include Impact Austin 101, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging, Discovering the Issues Facing Central Texas, and Philanthropy Education. More to come from our Zones Committee about potential in-person small group pop-up lunches during January to celebrate a new year and Discovery Days. So stay tuned for details. And as we're entering a new year, all of you are wondering, new year, new me, how can I contribute to Impact Austin this year? So one wonderful way is to volunteer. You can volunteer and invite your friends. Share the gift of your time, talent, your skills, your connections, your expertise, your energy with us. You can sign up on our website, on our volunteer form at impactaustin.org. And I get to do a huge shout out and thank you to the hundreds of women who volunteer for Impact Austin this year. We ask you to continue to invite friends to join, and there are a list of events on our website. Please share them with others. Another wonderful way to support, obviously, is financial support for Impact Austin. So join or renew your membership with the $1,250 annual contribution on our website, impactaustin.org. You can pay online using monthly or one lump sum payment, or you can pledge today by filling out the membership form and then submit your payment in the mail or pay by credit card at a later time. Also join the Philanthropy Circle. So make a $250 donation to our annual fund. Go to our website and make either a one-time donation, or you can sign up for monthly recurring donations of any amount to Impact Austin. And you'll also get your donation matched by the Patels. So I wanted to do a quick reminder, actually, just to make sure everyone takes action right now, is our membership drawing. So this is just a reminder that we will be doing, you have until November 30th to get your membership payment in or sign up for monthly payments. Anyone who has paid so far for 2022 are also eligible to win. So we'll be putting all of you in a drawing, and make sure to renew your membership. And then also to make a contribution, once again, giant shout out to the Patels. We're calling it the Patel Match Challenge. So just a reminder that a gift to the annual fund, thanks to the Patels, will be doubled. There's also a way to quadruple your impact by making a contribution, getting your corporation to match it, and then get that additional match from the Patels. So all of these gifts are tax deductible contributions to Impact Austin, and they're going to help Impact Austin and our community thrive for years to come. And now I get to say to y'all, thank you. In June, we're going to be exceeding $8 million of collective giving. That's June of this year, and that is all thanks to you. So thank you all for a wonderfully unusual couple of years online. I am so excited to see some of you. For those of you who are coming to the in-person reception that we're hosting this Thursday, November 18th at Zilker Lodge at 5, we'll be celebrating our newest community partners and getting to do some big checks and toasts, and it's going to be wonderful outside with some nice distancing. If you haven't registered, please sign up using the Eventbrite link that is in the chat. We are looking forward to seeing you, all of you. Thank you so much for everything that you have done for Impact Austin. And as we close out, we'll close out with our 2021 Together in Service video. For me, it's a reminder that we are re-entering a new world as new people. And I just imagine all the possibilities for 2022. So thank you so much, and I will see you next year.
Texas has become the first state in the U.S. to surpass 1 million confirmed coronavirus cases.
The issues of racism in America span beyond policing. It's about systems and inequities that have been in place for years.
The humanitarian crisis in Texas is accelerating. Millions still without power or water.
We are forever changed. It's been a year of milestones missed, loved ones lost, and communities struggling to stay afloat. Through this, we've gained a new perspective. And with this new perspective comes opportunity. An opportunity to impact those around us. An opportunity to create lasting change together.
Since the pandemic started, our building has been closed, so we've been working remotely using teletherapy, which means that anyone in the state of Texas can access our services.
Austin-based nonprofit Girls Empowerment Network is celebrating Women's History Month with one-of-a-kind girl power, their Spark Kits.
This last week, I worked with a couple pro bono attorneys as they secured the release of 2 men from the Limestone County Detention Center. These are asylum seekers who both had serious health conditions that put them more at risk of the coronavirus.
In spite of a year of struggles, our nonprofit partners have been up to the task. They've put community first and led by example.
We have upped our commitment to producing food for those neighbors who are in need.
As we learn more about the rollout of a COVID-19 vaccine, clinics in lower-income communities are worried about when they'll get access to the shots.
A lot of our community members work at places like AACHI, places like home health care.
We're here today at AACHI of Central Texas. They are providing an opportunity for us to get my mom's shot.
In spite of a year of uncertainty, our mission has never been so clear. Our experience has shaped our perspective. Let's use this new perspective to advance equity across our community, to create change that inspires others to participate. Central Texas is counting on Impact Austin. Central Texas is counting on you. Join Impact Austin today.